The buzz comes your way in a few. See you next week, Monday night at 11. Yes, we do it again for you. You take care. Have a wonderful weekend.
To take the place of you, but it's just a feel within me when you touch my hand, and a fear that shakes my body. I don't understand, so I'm leaving. Yes, I am. This time I'm playing.
Speroni, life sweet, celebrate that. Things poppin' when the Speroni pop. Bubbly sweet, add flavor to that. Live your best life when the Speroni pop. Everybody, pop, pop, pop Speroni.
Life sweet when you pop Speroni.
Them know we pop buckle, them know we pop style. Speroni we pop when we have a good time. Bust a buckle at the bubbly and live the sweet life. Speroni the #1 sparkling wine. Life sweet, pop Speroni Moscato.
Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This is the Entertainment Buzz.
hear me told ya.
Yo, yo, yo. What them say? Up to the buzz. Me don't know. And the buzz.
You know how we roll.
This is the Entertainment Buzz. Further on in the buzz.
That is why they part our things, and them searching and searching. Like what the sun to clip them away.
What we gonna do right here is go back. Way back in time.
Sky, are you? All the respect and ice soulful. Like a flag. Hear me now. So bout it. Dig it well.
Entertainment Buzz are the real thing, man. Sight.
And now, our feature presentation.
Yes, sir, we want to say a special welcome to the EBUZZ. I'm DJ Bones.
And I'm Kishima Francis. Happy New Year, pal.
Happy New Year.
How are you?
I am fine, living well, trying to refocus, reset for another year, 2023, which is going to be a year that's going to be very eventful, I would assume. Not assume, I know. It's going to be very eventful. How have you been? How did you spend your New Year's? What's been
Look here.
going on your side?
Spent it with family. Of course, you know, I have a New Year's baby. So New Year's has not been the same for me anymore because, you know, I have to use the time to plan a birthday party for the little one. So it was well spent, you know, with family and like you, re-energized and looking forward to 2023 and beyond.
I'm a little I'm not very cognizant of this bit of information about a new baby.
No, not a new baby. I have a New Year's baby. So KJ's, of course, well, not a baby anymore because he's 12.
So KJ, you're talking
Preteen.
about?
Yes.
So everybody leave baby stage long time.
Look
Long
here,
time.
just like how I know you're still your mom's baby, you know.
Not at all. Remember that beating stick? Not at all.
But yeah, really looking forward to 2023 for sure.
Well, so it's been eventful. We had a humdinger of a holiday season here. Lots of events happening and lots of excitement. I know that's one of the things we're going to be talking about tonight. Just all these things. Grizzly's Plantation Cove obviously was the hub of all.
Spot.
Yeah, but infrastructurally, it's such a great venue. So
it
I
is.
guess that's why people have now been drawn to it, and they're now trying to keep all their events there. The size is just amazing. We still got to work on some traffic things.
And in addition to the size and how beautiful the venue is, it's also very central. You know, for persons coming from different sections across the island. So all in all, it's a win-win when you're heading towards the North Coast for sure.
Right, of course. And before we do anything else, we just want to mention we got to do what we call the pleasantries or the protocol. So we want to say a very special thanks to our sponsor, Speroni Moscato, a live sweet pop Speroni. And of course, is it Speroni? Speroni. And feel to follow us on our social media pages: Instagram, IRIFM_JA, Twitter, IRI_FM, and of course, feel free to join us on Facebook at IRIFM. That's it. Very easy.
No, absolutely easy. And like you mentioned earlier, Bones, just like how eventful the holiday period was, and a bit of sad news in the mix. Just a year ago on the EBUZZ, we had Joe Mersa, Marley, and his untimely passing. I know persons are still saddened by his sudden death.
Not processing it at all. When I did see it, I kind of got the same feeling when we found out that Merciless had died. I just couldn't process that either. I got the call about Merciless very, very quickly, shortly after it happened. And I also got a call about Joe Mersa shortly after it, when they found him. And couldn't process it. But boy, it's hard. Dying from, I think he had an asthma attack, or they found him in a car.
In his car.
So it's hard for, to just lose any family member, especially unexpectedly. You always expect that member to come home back to you. And
no, absolutely. And he was a husband and a dad, and just mere 31, absolutely young.
Yeah. A lot of times I've been seeing a lot of people talking about when somebody drive out or leave out, you better make sure, put a prayer on them, because you never know if they're going to come back.
That is so true.
The road is so wild, and things are just happening, and a lot of things have been just happening very sporadically, unexpectedly. You have to give thanks when you actually make it back home and make it back to your family. Really important.
No, for real.
Yeah, really important.
Have to absolutely give thanks. How do you want to get into the hot topics?
Jump right into them, I guess. Let's see now. We got 5 Jamaicans who are sitting comfortably on the 2023 version of Rolling Stone's greatest singers of all time. So the publication started in the new year with an update of its rankings, which began in 2008, honoring the best vocalists in music. So we have a couple of hours right there. So the Messenger Luciano holds the 143rd spot, while Barrington Levy sits in 119 position. Legendary entertainer Bob Marley is listed at 98. With Toots Hibbert holding the 94th position. The Crown Prince of Reggae, Dennis Brown, ends the run of Jamaican singers in the 67th position. So we have
Dude, that's a strong representation right there.
Right. And, we're not going to just leave it to Jamaicans. We got the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, holds on to the number 1 position, while Whitney Houston sits in position number 2. The top 10 completed with the big names such as, Beyonce, Sam Cooke, Billie Holiday, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, Mariah Carey, Otis Redding, and Al Green. And the King of Pop, Michael Jackson, sits in the number 86 position. I don't know why I thought he'd be higher. Meanwhile, the list is not without scrutiny, as social media users are questioning the exclusion of people like Celine Dion, Jennifer Hudson, Janet Jackson, Nat King Cole, and Dionne Warwick. Yeah, those
are big names to be left off.
Mega. So we give thanks for that. And
no, absolutely.
Protoje. Big thing again with Protoje.
I know. Did you see him perform? I know he shared it on his social media platform and urged his followers to check it out on his YouTube page.
Right. I did see not the actual live show, but I saw what he shared.
The performance.
And it was good. It was good. It was great. Big up yourself, Protoje, making marks, making moves. So Grammy-nominated reggae singer and songwriter Protoje kicked off the new year with an appearance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. And that happened last night with the Blood Money hitmaker performed the song Hills from his latest album, Third Time's the Charm. And Third Time's the Charm was also chosen by Rolling Stone magazine among the best albums of 2022. And the LP's single Late at Night featuring Lila Ike for the best song of 2022. So Protoje made his first appearance on the popular American late night television show back in 2019. We also had the likes of Chronix, who appeared on the show twice, on the Tonight Show. So big ups to our Jamaican ambassadors making it
No,
large.
absolutely. And big up to Protoje.
For real.
It's also Grammy season coming up. So in short order, we will find out who the winners are. The winner is for
Definitely.
the best reggae album. So we're looking out for that. Lisa Hyperbones,
Yep.
she was released from the University Hospital of the West Indies on Tuesday afternoon after successfully undergoing treatment for depression. And if you remember, she had been admitted to the facility a week ago.
Yeah.
So happy she got the treatment and she's out, and she's taking it seriously, because depression is no joke. I mean, you hear in the news, you see what is happening with families. You're hearing of suicides and that kind of thing. So we really implore persons to take care of their mental health.
One of the things that people need to understand about depression is that it is not easily seen, and it is easily masked. You have people who mask depression by being overly humorous. You have people who mask depression by doing other things that would deflect from what they're really feeling. And if Lisa Hyper, I see her in Kingston all the time, ever they laugh. Boys, nobody with the foolishness. I wouldn't have figured that would happen. But you see, you don't know what's going on. And for people,
Internally, yeah.
and for people who are feeling symptoms of depression, you need to communicate it loud and proud and clear.
And even when
Yeah.
they communicate it, we also have to pay attention and listen, because somebody will tell you how they're feeling, and because to you they don't seem or appear physically ill and they seem healthy and they can
Right.
move about, you don't take it seriously. So we too have to, take the necessary precaution and be vigilant, be kind. Most of all, be kind.
And here's another thing that we definitely need to take is a break. We'll be right back.
Visit Mullings Electrical and Plumbing, Savalan Amar, for all your electrical, plumbing, lighting, and hardware needs. Licensed electrical contractors are available. Telephone 876-955-9209. The time by Mullings Electrical and Plumbing is...
It's 8:45 p.m.
Speroni, life sweet, celebrate that. Things popping when the Speroni pop. Bubbly sweet, add flavor to that. Live your best life when the Speroni pop. Everybody, pop, pop, pop Speroni.
Life sweet when you pop Speroni.
Them know we pop buckle, them know we pop style. Speroni we pop when we have a good time. What's a buckle at the bubbly and live the sweet life. Speroni the #1 sparkling wine. Life sweet, pop Speroni Moscato.
Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
All right, so if you're just joining us, we want to say welcome back to the EBUZZ. It's the first one for 2023, and we were just having a little conversation about depression. You were talking about Lisa Hyper just being coming out of
Released
the hospital.
from hospital.
So we really are happy that she's out. It's a process. It takes a while, but there's good medication for it. And as long as you are communicating and people are watching you and monitoring you, you can be fine.
Somebody on social media just texted in, depression with question mark, eat, sweet, stop, and sit down. It's not as easy sometimes. Different people are going through different things, and at various times will need different types of remedies. Sometimes somebody just needs somebody to listen to what they have to say. Sometimes it is your financial situation. And, like so many other things. So as we go about our everyday lives, we have to just be kind and take the time out to listen and pay attention. Like you mentioned, Bones, sometimes a lot of people hide behind being humorous. And we see that with actor Robin Williams.
Definitely.
When he passed away, that was a big shocker for the entire entertainment industry and also for his fans, because nobody saw that coming or knew he was depressed.
Andrew Bourdain is another one. Nobody knew he was depressed. The brother who works with Ellen.
Yes.
That loves to dance, Twitch. Yeah.
Twitch.
I mean, nobody would have seen that coming. He probably masked it with dancing.
No, and he recently also celebrated his anniversary. He has a lovely family, wife and children.
Yeah.
And, even they too were in shock. So, sometimes you just really have to slow down and be observant. But like you said, it's not like you have something that is visible.
And there's something that also needs to be said. You know, sometimes somebody will communicate to you that they're either melancholy or sad, lost interest. And the worst thing you can tell, snap out it, man. Just jump out it. It doesn't work like that.
Or get over it.
Get over it. It doesn't work like that. It's something that consumes you, and you have to be helped. You have to be helped to be able to work it through, either by therapy, with a combination of therapy and medications or whatever. But it's
slow down, meditate too, breathe.
Yeah.
Sometimes we underestimate the power of a deep breath.
Yeah.
Sometimes taking a deep breath, counting to 10, visiting the beach, like all these natural resources that we have on the island. You can just walk on the beach, just listening to the waves crash up on the shore or hit up against the rock. That in itself is therapeutic.
Right.
So in slowing down and you know, partaking in these natural elements and things that we have can absolutely reset your mind and, you know, kind of put you in a better place.
Also, try to move away from situations that triggers depression, because a lot of times depression has triggers, or certain things will trigger stress, which is a kind of a depression, but that's normally temporary. But when you get into something that is prolonged, where you're getting this feeling of low and not interested and sad and guilt and all of these other things that come with it, you need to try to find some of these triggers and stay away from them. Sometimes people trigger depression.
Triggers, absolutely.
Yeah. People, situations, places that you don't have a good memory of, you try to avoid it for a while and see if you can work through it.
And just know that anything that is costing you your peace is too expensive.
Thank you very much. Way too expensive. Why, I feel like I just got through therapy a while ago. No.
And, you know, I know, like, a lot of persons across social media platforms, Bones, they're talking about the state of dancehall. And as we open the show and look towards 2023, this is a topic that we're going to be discussing at length tonight. And we also will open the phone lines a little later on and get, you know, our listeners to weigh in. Did you manage to go to any of those two major shows, Intimate and Sting?
I went to Intimate. It was
packed.
It was epic. It was a movie. It was epic. Production, support. The only thing that show had that problem is to get there. Traffic.
Traffic.
But once you got in, and I mean, I'm telling you, because of how the show was promoted, how it was packaged, because, you know, sometimes you have some people who, you'll have the big headliners like that. This was not a whole large list of people on this show. Beres, Buju, Taros,
Marcia, Lost, and Diani.
Those were some of the friends that came, right? So, you know, Taros would bring up his son, and, you know, a lot of other people came. But what it is that the way the show was packaged, and a lot of times entertainment events are successful because of how they're packaged. This one had major promotion. I mean, we had Irie giving away hundreds of tickets. It was on the radio. It was packaged. There was you know, when you see a show and you know, you look on the show and you say that show they're cheap, not this one. So I went to Intimate. I saw it fully. I chose not to go to Sting. I heard they were going to have a feed to watch it. So I watched it, but I chose not to go. I've only been to Sting one time. In all its years, and the one time I go, this was when it was in Jam World up in Portmore. Bullet rain upon me like so me behind me carry me duck. I said, no, I don't think I'm going to reach back here. I don't think so, Rasta. No, So I decided not to go. But when I saw the lineup and they got a massive crowd also, but I didn't understand what happened after a while. You just go downhill. Beer, bangarang, and police jump fence and all sort of foolishness. So I think there were two very different shows.
No, absolutely. They were two very different shows. And I think the caliber of entertainers that were booked for Intimate and based on the execution. That just kind of shows that, look, our veteran entertainers are undoubtedly great, and it also reflected sort of poorly on the younger crop of entertainers who really got an opportunity. And then when you really look at Sting has been the birthplace for like a lot of entertainers who are still reigning. So even the organizers, they were bold enough to provide an opportunity and a platform and a space for these upcoming talents. But did they rise to the occasion? And if given the opportunity where Sting did not end prematurely, would it be a situation where an artist like a Valiant would got the opportunity to say shine, or perhaps a Jashi? What would that outcome be?
Well, to be honest with you, I see two very influential people in this business who can help us to analyze and dissect this whole thing. So we have Dr. Sonjah. It is Sonjah Stanley-Niaah. Always great to have her. By the way, I love your glasses, Doc. Look rich.
Look, and Bones, you can't just end it like that. We have to give people their titles.
But
tonight.
I'm only
title long. Everybody have them titles.
All right, so you're ready for this now, people? Woo.
Yes, we are ready. Go ahead.
Senior lecturer in cultural studies and deputy dean in the Faculty of Humanities and Education at the University of the West Indies. That was one piece. Then, of course, there was a longer list, with all sorts of boards, and I'll just work with this one for now. This one,
right. So, welcome, Dr. Niaah.
Dr. Niaah, welcome. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you both. Good stuff. I mean, it's been forever. It's been a long time.
No, it really has been forever. And we also have in the midst, we have Foota Hype, DJ, selector, vlogger, and producer. Welcome, Foota.
Entertainer.
Happy New Year.
Foota.
Hi.
Rich.
Blessed 23.
Foota Hype, your internet connection seems to be freezing.
Yes, you're frozen, but I hear you
saying all right, let me see.
Okay.
All right, and we got Curly Locks, I think, just joining us right now. Singer, Grammy-nominated songwriter, actor, and author. Curly Locks, welcome, my boss.
Curly Locks. Happy New Year.
Blessed.
All right. I want to make sure that we can get Foota Hype's feed
audio.
Hearing you know.
Hearing you know, yes.
Yeah, right.
We're hearing you know.
Yeah, right.
Welcome again to everyone, and I'm really excited about this panel tonight, Bones, because we're talking about individuals who are not afraid to speak their truth, individuals who understand the music industry and are very much a part of it. So we're looking forward to the conversation. The essence of it is to highlight what is happening and, of course, ultimately find a solution or give ideas as it relates to ways how we can remedy the issue. So to kick things off, just, open. We know the evolution in general is inevitable. However, is dancehall in capable hands looking at the industry as is today?
Who wants to take that one? Dr. Niaah?
No, you're going to call me first.
No.
So let me put it this way, and I've said this a number of times. I have no anxiety about the music industry in a general sense, right? I don't have any anxiety because I know that there are moments of change. There are moments of evolution. It is something that's inevitable,
right?
And change isn't always what we might like to see. Change isn't something that we can determine. Change is something that happens, despite our desires. So I know that what we have is a situation where young people are emerging and there is a difference in appreciation all the time where music is concerned. Music is the one element that is so sensory that it brings us back to taste, smell, moments, experiences. And the music of our time, you notice that many of us have music that we love. The reason we love our music is because it means something in particular to us. So the young people nowadays, their music is not going to be our music.
Right.
But I'm always looking for that moment when something is going to emerge that takes us back to the essence of what it is that the music means to us. And what exactly is that? My concern lies in the fact that many of the people who are producing, many of the artists nowadays recording, they seem to have, in the context of trap dancehall, forgotten the dance. And even if they're calling it trap dancehall, and it's a completely different genre that we're engaged with, it means that something about dance and hall is being, let's say, it's being done differently. And that would be my issue. And we can talk a little bit about more about that.
And we probably could get the views of the others. Foota.
Foota, Curly.
Curly, what are your thoughts? Are we in capable hands? Is dancehall in capable hands? Foota.
All right, Foota first. So make Foota go on.
Foota, go through.
All right. Well, I'm going to be honest. I was getting a bit nervous to where the direction and the results were going. But since the return of Sting, a lot of people see Sting, what happened the other day, as a negative light. But for me, it's a positive light in just the sense of the show being returned. The packaging wasn't right. The lineup wasn't right. But it is a million circumstances why the package wasn't right. From financial to ego to emotion to all of that. But what I am glad for is that the show is back, because for the 7 years that Sting has been absent, we have seen the result in the delivery of the artists. Sting, yes, has a lot of negative effect to it over the years. It's not just since the newcomers, forever it has had that. But at the same time, from those negative effects, we have had the biggest superstars. Now, when it comes to DJs, most of our most iconic DJs have been a part of the clash culture and Sting. From those who sell platinum to those who sell gold, from the Merciless to the Cobras to the Bounty Killer to the Beanie Man to the Super Cat to the Shabba, you name it. So when you have people born and being raised, but then you take out the educational part out of their life, like there's no school and there's no spiritual learning, then you're going to have a particular result. Now, with Sting missing, it's a problem. With Border Clash, you could name the multiple amount of shows.
One thing you think before you go, you were mentioning clash culture. We don't want clash with our sponsors, so we're going to take a quick break and follow.
Get up to 15% off your prescriptions when you visit the New Hilldale Pharmacy and Medical Center on Great George Street, Savannah, Lamar. The time by New Hilldale Pharmacy and Medical Center is...
It's 1 minute after 9. All right, I think we're back. All right, so Foota, continue your point, my brother. No, we have a clash with Foota.
Yes, so my point is...
There you go. Yes, we got you. Yeah,
when
all right, we have to work on that.
Okay. I'm basically saying, in the journey from... I'm connected to the Wi-Fi, I don't know.
Yeah,
you hearing me?
We're hearing, there's a slur, but as you speak, it's getting better. Yeah, we're hearing you.
Okay. So I'm saying from the inception of a particular artist to when he becomes a major artist, there's a journey. Now, there's no more Ketterbox show, there's no more Juice show, there's no more Cassava State Grassman and everything. In a community, there used to be one stop, there used to be frontliners, there would be modern places for the arts.
Right, Foota, we're having a
you were already trained. No,
we're not able to hear you. Foota. Can you hear us? We're not able to hear. Your feed is actually it's kind of not
it's choppy.
strong.
Yes,
it's choppy.
you're going.
in and out. So
in and out. So we're gonna go to Curly and then see if we can rectify that.
Right.
In the event that we are not connecting via Zoom with Foota, we can perhaps Bones call him via phone.
Right, we can do that.
Yeah, you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know what. I don't know why you just adjust, but we're hearing you.
No. Maybe I'm on the Wi-Fi, so I'm take off the Wi-Fi.
All right. So your Wi-Fi problem. Go on through though. Make your point.
Yeah. So I'm saying there's a journey from wanting to do music to becoming a major state media being involved. Because these events are here more to partially groom the talent. So we are getting raw and cut talent without any guidance. And then over a particular series of years, the mentorship of a groomed artist, taking an artist under their wings and showing them the rope is not there because, as you say, something that a young artist does not agree with, you're bad mind and you're preem. So he just wants to go out there and do what his friend is telling him, and the producer, who's also inexperienced, is telling him. You know, when they come on the platform where there's an international crowd with their age group and not their age group and middle age and elder age and international, it's not delivering. They're failing terribly.
Mm-hmm. Curly?
Yeah. Now
are we in good hands? Is Dancehall in capable hands? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
No, it's not. But it's not as simple as we often like to think that it is or it should be. You know what I mean? It's there's just a whole lot of things. I mean, extending power Foota just said. You know how the artists them act. So let's go into what really caused that. Let's go into the whole aspect of business then where the internet concerns. So the internet come into play where there are no more guidelines. There's no more structure where a man have to follow. There is no more studio where say, boy, you have to bleach out a door for 6 months and you have to appreciate this craft, and when you get in there, you have to go be a send out and go buy a KFC like I was. Like what me did have to go through is an initiation type of ride. So me did half it, whether I like it or not, respect this craft because it takes something out of me for me get to be a part of this thing. Now the internet come in and it just destroy those lines. Destroy those kind of initiation rights where somebody definitely knows and that to go through this to get what I'm have, so I have to respect. This, he might behave a certain way where he know and lose, but him get the guy know exactly when they go through to get it. So that's not about again. So I'm just drop a laptop on a bed and just put on a headphone and say my artist. You understand? So there is no real appreciation. Them get it too easy.
And I tend to agree with that because one of the things that also happens with the advent of social media, the internet, as you'd say, there's no, just like regular free-to-air or regular media, which is governed by the Broadcast Commission, there are certain things you can't do. And you cannot do this because it is going to be in breach of a license or what somebody will do. With the internet, social media, they put up anything, they do anything. And what happens is it undercuts us here as at free-to-air people. To put a little standard to certain things. We're not saying that everything that comes on social media is bad, but it's because it's not governed properly or it's not governed at all. You do what you want. And when you do what you want, you get the likes, you get the streams, you get and you're gone.
It is this free market type of thinking.
Yes.
Nobody sees what cancel out what and make certain thing work. Nobody don't care. Everybody, Sony one big record company and they make blank to burn the same album them where they try to sell. Because business, them just a sell, them not think about what cancel what.
Right, okay.
You understand? So you find that business and how the principles of business and how make business work is really and truly the biggest part of the problem. Because the problem is profitable and the solution is not.
Right.
You understand? And the media themselves, including the IDEM, including IRFM and every other media structure, what really what the media really do? Promote what is popular, promote what people want. What people want, garbage. 3/4 of the time. Like what the media really and truly do. We're not going to live up to a responsibility to say, okay, the youth, them are going to think a certain way. Yeah? Every man I think about where the competition are going to do. And we can't make the competition beat us so our next man can do the right thing.
Curly,
You know what the technology really did though?
I hear your point, and then also Dr. Niaah, you tweeted that for that dancehall needs to hit the reset button, and since we're on the digital age, entertainers today have multiple platforms to get their music out there. Like you highlighted, these platforms do not have the necessary sanctions. So on YouTube, they can put out whatever they want. On Spotify and all these streaming platforms, they can make, produce, and put out whatever music they choose to put out. Is it probable in this day and age, given the situation with the multiple platforms and mediums that they have at their disposal for a reset of dancehall?
So let me say, you know, I kind of started off in a way that was a little very, in other words, there are several challenges that we're having, and all of what we're talking about, it still doesn't scratch the surface of what the challenges are.
Wow.
And if you notice, I said I'm not having any anxiety because something always comes to change what is happening, right? Yes. But here, what is my problem now? If you have something that you value, and every time I open my mouth in Jamaica, I have to say these things because education is not a moment, it's a process. Jamaica is the only country to have given the world 7 or 8 distinct genres of music in the latter half of the 20th century, depending on who you're speaking to. No genre of music created since the 1960s has escaped the influence of Jamaican music. And if you think about the genres of music outside of Jamaica that have been influenced by Jamaican music, you're counting above 60. So it means that in Jamaica, we have an embarrassment of musical riches that we have not taken seriously. Forget what the youth or the young artists are doing. Let us talk about what constitutes the enabling environment that would assist young people who are emerging in a business to know that there's a structure that they should understand and follow and seek guidance about. So the British music industry, for example, started at the same time as the Jamaican music industry. Right. But for a first world country, which does not have per capita the kind of creative quotient or the creative output by in terms of music that we have not sought to structure our industry. In fact, some people will tell you Jamaica don't have no industry. And I find myself, let me tell you, Bones and Keshima, I'm tired of talking about the same thing. Because the people who function in an industry cannot be the people who are left all the time to structure and rule and guide themselves. So there's an enabling environment, and this is why you have institutions like UNESCO, you have institutions that are outside of the purview of the young people who are operating. You know, you have local and you have international institutions. So where are we now with that enabling environment that supports music, where we know so we have an embarrassment of musical riches? And I'm not even mentioning government yet. You know, that I don't say nothing about government. Right. Because the government is the arm that's supposed to facilitate. What was that?
I was wondering when you were going to mention the government.
Yeah, I mean, I reached the government yet. Because that enabling environment is also, it is because of public-private partnership why that enabling environment is structured in the way it's structured in jurisdictions like Britain, America, wherever it is, you look where there's a thriving music industry. And think about it. When you go to a music store in whichever major country in the world, Jamaican music has pride of place. British music, American music. There are only 3 countries that enjoy the kind of place that we have: Jamaica, Britain, and the United States, where music is concerned. Pop music, right? Popular music. So what is it that we are not doing in our context? Why it is that we have a system where we can, all of a sudden we are anxious about the same concerns we had 20 years ago when reggae was emerging, it was boogie yaga music.
Yep.
When dancehall was emerging, there was a problem. So I don't want us to sound like we are suddenly this older generation, as Tanya Stevens was trying to school Lex today, that suddenly have anxiety about the music. We need to look behind what is happening, because if there was structure, even with the internet and the technological changes, somebody would be able to say, no, this is not how you do that. This is how you do that. Yeah? So I want us to kind of step back and look. And I heard your Foota. Where Sting is concerned, some people call it the University of Dancehall in terms of stage shows. But yes, we need to look at show business. We need to look at the business of the business and what structures exist that would teach young people about this. So in Jamaican schools, education that we think about when we go to school, why aren't we learning about Jamaica's embarrassment of musical riches? Why are we not learning about what we have given the world? Those I have shared earlier is me come up with them by myself because me I look on the music and I study it myself.
Right. Can I tell you what I have found for myself? Yes. And I'm basically a young person in music, but I have a lot of hands-on experience because I was in the street with music from a longer time. Now, Bob Marley was before my time. Peter Tosh was before my time. Jimmy Cliff was before my time. All share the same sentiments of our music being strangled, our culture being strangled. We have failed to accept the fact that Jamaica, brand Jamaica, is the biggest enemy to all the first world nations in the world. Jamaica makes them nervous.
And that's what I want us to talk about. That's what I want us to talk about.
Okay, I'm going to tell you from my point of view. This is not even school or anybody teaching me. It's what I've learned. Now, when the name Jamaica comes up in any one of these big corporate companies with the financial backing and the conglomerates that corner the music, when the name Jamaica appears, everybody is nervous because we do have the biggest culture in the world. We sell the most records in the world. They won't tell us that, but we do. Now, if you can remember clearly, Peter Tosh said they pressed 45,000 copies of one of his songs, and the same day it was released, it was sold out, and they were adamant on not pressing anymore. That means Peter Tosh could have sold 45 million copies over a 1 year period, but they were not pressed. Now, what is happening to us? We don't have a distribution outlet for our product. We have to be going third party, fourth party, fifth party through all these enemies of our culture and music. One of the main things why we are bombarded and we are suffering via the international market is because of our content. We are the only music on the planet that is 80% directed on righteousness, on black empowerment, on love, on male and female relationship. We promote those things. Now, the next percentage of the world is either with those things or against what we stand for. And we are just a little dot given a blessing by God. Now, we have to understand that the way of the devil and the demon is high, and we and our culture are an opposition to these people and what they plan and plot. Reggae is the reason why Jamaica is suffering. We were blessed with reggae, which is the music of the Almighty, which people don't tend to realize. So every opposition to righteousness is Jamaica's enemy. If you check Afrobeat, they do not sing about black empowerment. They do not sing about the rising of the black people. They do not sing about black unity. They sing about love. They sing about everything that hip-hop sing about. Hip-hop doesn't care about the spiritual empowerment of a race or of a people. reggae music is the only thing that every ingredient about reggae is that, and dancehall is a spin-off of reggae, which sometimes it's more rough, it's more raw, and it's getting more contaminated, but it still stands for what reggae still stands for. You know, that is a big problem. Whether you do good music or not, whether your song sound good or not, whether your song clean or not clean, I've been told by the owner of Sony.
What have you been told, Foota? You're frozen.
He froze.
No.
At that point.
Not when you're about to spill.
I think we're going to try and get his connection up and running again. All right.
Can you hear me?
We are hearing you now. Go ahead.
You were about to
Can you hear me?
see. What
yes.
exactly did the owner of Sony say to you? We didn't hear.
Okay, he said to me, all A&Rs who work for these big companies are trained to make the success threshold for Jamaicans this small, not reggae or dancehall. Jamaicans. Once you break the mark and you're a Jamaican, everything becomes difficult for you. Now, if you notice, and I'm just calling names based on what has been done. Rihanna do Run, Man Down, biggest reggae song. Tonto Mechan Devanti does Everyone Falls in Love. It's big. Tory Lane sings it over. It's 10 million times bigger than Tonto Mechan Devanti. But Tory Lanes will tell you that it's Tonto Mechan Devanti's song, make him hear and do that. Jamaican music is the most sampled music by international artists forever. But yet still, our artists are never in the system of selling even copper. It's a lie. It's a facade. They keep telling us that we are not doing good, but we are doing the best.
You're highlighting what is happening internationally, but there seem to be some sort of infight for the music as well, because next month is Reggae Month, and we know the usual. There are going to be a string of events right across the island that are tagged and labeled Reggae Month activities. So since we're all here and we're unearthing some information, what exactly should the government do to put reggae in the spotlight that it needs to be, and internally we can get our music on a level, because it is evident that the infight is obvious. It's prominent here.
I beg you a minute, Tula. If you were no, I want to address that before you move on. If you were listening what I said earlier, these first world countries, I'm speaking about the Europe, the England, the America, all these places. The government of Jamaica is a subsidiary of these big countries. A lot of what you see going on with the music, where the government, whether it be PNP or JLP is doing, they are being ordered to do it. They are not doing it from the heart. So when you say what the government needs to do, the government knows what's to be done. You cannot have Reggae Month in Jamaica the entire year to be reggae year. You cannot turn off music at 12 in Jamaica during the week and 2 on weekends when we are the factory of reggae and dancehall. We should have 24-hour venues that you can wake up and go to any time you want. Tourists come, them can go to a dance anytime. We're supposed to have the streets like Mardi Gras. We're supposed to be the most bountiful reggae place in the world. That's the first.
Agreed. 100%.
Yeah. But they were talking about entertainment zones and places that people can have these kind of festivities, because there's also going to be the area or the situation of noise
like
abatement.
A 9-day talk, Bones, isn't
Not true.
it? Like, I mean, every a certain time of year you hear these conversations.
And it doesn't come to anything.
Usually when an election is around the corner, or, you know, something comes up or you want the other party to look bad. But Curly, I see you rocking back and forth. I know you want to unleash some gems on us. Your take?
me not even go get back into why me was cut off suddenly earlier in terms of the point to me that I tried to make. But let me first say something. We have to make a distinction between reggae and dancehall, where revolution and spirituality is concerned, where understanding even business is concerned, as Dr. Niaah earlier mentioned. We must not conflate dancehall and reggae. It's two different set of business principles govern the two structure. Dancehall, as much as me love it, did not maximize its potential based on the hustling mentality. I promise you, Slide On Bar will not have the same problem as a regular reggae, as a regular dancehall producer. We can promise to not have the same problem. But when we get back to earlier, what did I say? The biggest, it is good and well. We can gather yourself, we can have a nice cologne, we can come to hear our own voice. But the reality of the problem is where business, the structure of business is seated, especially when it comes to dancehall, is seated in a nonsense. The structure of the business structure itself is seated in a nonsense. The problem is what sells. And it's what people tend to want to sell. As much as all media houses can come and say, "Boy, we don't like this," but you sell nothing else. We're not willing to sell anything else because guess what? I'm showing you something. This is what it is. To do the moral thing, to do the correct thing, in any problem we face in our life, we are going to have to lose money, and nobody's willing to lose money. Everybody has said to themselves that they have to beat the competition. The next man will do the right thing. Everybody I think the same thing, and the problem gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And what I am tired of, let me tell you, we can talk like man dog, Mosquito Tribe, Bingy Rye, Uncle Sax. Me can be a fake motor, but what I cannot be is a real fool, a real idiot. I wish me could. I wish me could. We pretend so we don't know the problem. We know the problem. The problem is that the problem sells and the solution does not sell in any way, shape, or form. Dancehall is where it is now because of indiscipline. Indiscipline. You understand? And this indiscipline is what brings the ruin to it. And even Afrobeat or the outside people, they might do and mimic our culture and I get it right, it should not be a problem. It's actually a solution. It's an opportunity to get it right. It is an opportunity to get it right. These Africans are doing it properly. Them still respect the actual music. Them are bringing the musician, them are baiting. We are cut corners. And I left the musician, them and the things that once made it great and created the reputation that we are now living off of. The reputation, the African them still do it like how it fit do, so it can sound like how it fit sound. And we'll get left back if we don't start respect the music again, the whole entire thing that makes it work.
I beg to disagree in some point. Reason why I beg to disagree, I don't agree when you say they're doing it right. Because again, I'm going to bring forward my point. And my point is our biggest problem is our content, even as reggae. Take dancehall out of it. Our music was already a problem from the content of reggae, even when it was not lewd and it never had any profanities. Just the whole mindset of reggae and the liberation of black people and the oppressing of President Botha and
dancehall against reggae, my brother. You have to separate the two.
Enlightenment.
The man are the same.
No,
the man are the same.
Well, I'm saying. No, I am saying.
Dancehall is not reggae. Dancehall
I'm just saying. I'm showing you time and place. Yeah. No, me know that, my brother. But me I say put dancehall one side. That's what I just said. Let's just go back from when there was only reggae and there was not dancehall.
No, I got a problem.
No, you know, understand me. No. But when I'm trying to say to you, Curly Locks, I'm trying to say to you. No, what I'm trying to say to you is we were being oppressed before there was a thing called dancehall because of the musical content. So the content is the biggest problem we have. and that content was given us to us by struggle and knowledge of oneself. Now, the Bob Marley, the Burning Spear, the Peter Tosh, they were oppressed by the music system in those times as Jamaica. See?
Yeah.
So the oppression is not coming from something new, which is dancehall. The oppression is coming from brand Jamaica. This is what I want people to understand. It is not just the music that is the problem. It's being Jamaican that is the problem, because we inspire revolutions far beyond our shores where we are not even involved, but our words take on to the frequencies in the universe and go to places and ignite spirits in people far beyond our shores. So
reggae, the problem not dancehall, really. It's a minority.
No,
dancehall.
So let me help you.
Reggae, Pupa.
Hold on, let me help you. Hold on, let me help you.
But I said
reggae, not dancehall.
That's what I said. Reggae, I never said.
The majority of dancehall has never been this great revolution. We are talking about
Let me mediate a minute.
Yes.
Let me help you, Foota. Let me help you, Curly Locks. What Foota is saying is that Jamaican music, whether reggae or dancehall, has come up on challenges in the world. And that's because of the content. So whether it was reggae, the content was a problem for some reasons. Where dancehall is concerned, the content is a problem for some reasons. And in fact, dancehall has inspired revolutionary potential in a number of places. So look at the Japanese dancehall queens, for example. They have found a certain kind of liberation where gender is concerned and gender bias is concerned in Japan, just by virtue of taking off them clothes and winding up themselves like dancehall queens. Unheard of in Japan. So there are little things like that we can say, yes, dancehall itself is inspiring and holds the people to do things differently. So, but where you are going, Curly Locks, is that despite the content, there is a business that we are not getting right. And I agree with both of you. Yes. That business has to do with the way in which there is no structure, because that's exactly what I'm talking about.
And I am saying
young people coming out of business and them want to be a star. Every Jamaican is a star, by the way. Nobody can tell nobody say them on a star. Young people come into the business and there's no structure that tells them this is how it really goes. In other words, let me give you something that is I will never forget. Olympics would be the pinnacle of what a professional athlete aspires to. Where music is concerned, we might talk about the Grammys. Everybody aspire to get so big and have such a hit that they can win a Grammy. But what is the orientation in Jamaica that gets you into thinking about sport? Once you enter basic school, primary school, you're put in a house, and sport is something that you do every day. You think about it. Where music is concerned, music teachers are teaching accounts. There is no structure in schools that take us to that pinnacle from amateur to professional where music is concerned. Consider that carefully for me.
Which I talk about every day. Which I do talk about every day. Despite the pressures we dancehall and reggae face, we've managed to override all of those pressures and be the best in the world for a particular reason, for decades. But we have dropped that ball. Dancehall, in particular, is not what it was for our fall, not because of somebody else outside of us. We have dropped that ball and became something else. We have forgotten who we are as a culture. We have forgotten that. And we are trying to be something and somebody else. And that is the major part of our downfall. Yes, we get fight because of the content. Yes, we get fight.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
One second, Foota. Last year, Afrobeats got its own category in the American Music Awards, while the Mobos replaced its reggae category with Best Caribbean Act. individually, entertainers from dancehall and reggae, they're making strides internationally. But what are we doing as a collective to say, put our stamp of approval internationally?
We are doing business.
Can I speak again?
The way we do it stupidly.
All right.
No.
Before
No,
we
I
go any
don't-
further,
no.
we're up for a break. We soon forward.
We are confirmed. That's what we're doing collectively.
The time on IRI FM is...
It is 9:32. All right.
Yes, Curly?
continue. Yes, I want to
Yeah.
open the phone lines at some point to give our listeners a chance to participate. Go ahead, Curly.
You're saying that we have conform and everybody doing business stupidly.
We confirm. Everybody does have this mindset. Say, me and a problem. The problem is something that I see externally. The problem is something that somebody's supposed to fix it. I impress me. It's not me. And everybody, I think the same thing. Every media house. Every single one of them. Why isn't it? We know why problem. Berries, and this is the greatest thing. Oh my God, I'm so smitten. But nobody at all now dedicate them station to doing these things consistently. Why? Because the competition is not doing it. And you have to beat the competition, and that is the problem there. The problem sells. The solution doesn't. Nobody no one lose money.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Go ahead.
In pertain to what Kishima just said about these award shows that we look and hold so highly, deciding to remove a reggae category, it explains exactly what I said before. Now, they paint the picture like getting a Grammy is the biggest thing. Getting a Grammy is me, Curly Locks, Dr. Kishima and Bones deciding that, okay, we're going to give Gully Bop DJ of the Year. That's all us. But at the same time, Amari sold 2 billion records. She does not get the award because we choose not to give it. Now, this is what I want you to understand. In the bigger realm of what we are trying to achieve, we are the enemies. Now, I am going to use example. They say is selling records is the main thing. Like where Laxa said, selling records. Shaggy has showed us that that was not the problem. Because Shaggy sell diamond in a one go for one album. Jay-Z them sell diamond over a decade, over longer periods. So Shaggy sure said him can sell it in a one go. He was still dropped from the record label. Sean Paul sell multiple platinum over and over. Still, on the real superstar level is not a superstar. Comparing to a Puffy or a Jay-Z or even a little Meek Mills that just bust the other day. So I am just trying for us to understand. Yes, we have internal problems, but we have to understand that there is a bigger problem on the worldwide scale that we cannot solve. Because when Lux sell 2 million records, if they give Lux a plaque and say you sell 2 million records, I guarantee you Lux sell 6 million records. Because they don't want us to look like the biggest thing. So they play with the numbers, my friend. So these award shows, okay, I am named Curly Lux, I come from down Maxfield. Oh, it is said that down by Maxfield, they did this to alphabet people. Automatically Lux get tarnished as a Jamaican when I do nothing yet. So him record still start this. We don't have an opinion in the international world. Shabba was being honest, and Shabba was bombarded and blackballed for nothing. So I am saying, all the way we are saying, now go give you the international status we are looking for, because we are the enemies.
All right, so, but let's come back internally now.
Inherit.
Let's come back internally now, because for our business, I mean, I talk about this example all the time. You go into Marley International Airport, you come off a plane, and people are trying to get their luggage, and everybody crowd up around the carousel. And you wonder, why is it that somebody just don't go and paint a line around the carousel 3 feet away for people to understand that they don't step in a line? what is going to require, what's going to be required for that line to be painted around the carousel is leadership.
Yes.
Leadership is part of our problem, why it is we do not have the kind of, let's call it structure internally for our business of music.
You know,
just like the line around the carousel, there are many things that are not present in how it is we have structured our business.
Can I tell you why? We got the opportunity to structure our business, and I'm going to speak this company name, and them can't sue me because it's reality. It's what happened. At one point, Red Stripe took sanction against the artists on Sumfest. A certain particular artist, they decided that we don't want them on the show. Red Stripe didn't want them on the show. And these artists decided we are not doing the show. But remember, in any business, you're going to have managers, supervisors, desk clerk, doorman, bellman. Everybody's not going to be at the same level. So this is where the problem is. As soon as Red Stripe said, I don't want curly locks, I don't want Foota hype, I don't want Bones, Kishima was collecting less money at Irie than Bones. So she said, Red Stripe, please put Bones one side, I'll do it. No. Red Stripe is a sponsor. It's very disrespectful for Red Stripe to take sanction against the product of the show. And then anybody else who is a product of the show go do business with Red Stripe, insulting all the other products of the show. Red Stripe should have been able to put a Red Stripe Sorrel wine buckle, a Red Stripe buckle, a Red Stripe light, and put them on the flyer performing and see if the show would be packed. No, these stands are not being taken by the members and players of the game. We allow the tables to be reversed like a sponsor keep the show. Sponsor
right round to me, I say, I'm early. You come right round to me, I say.
No, I agree. No, remember, I not disagree with you. I just say there's a bigger thing around the circumference at the entertainment where we are looked through, we have no distribution, we have nothing. But let me finish this now. And this is going to, some people now go warm at this, but it has to be said. It's the same reason why Bob and Alan still call a best friend. Because when Raiderman used to take sanction against Bob and now play him, Alan swing the pickaxe stick. And it have to fix. Now, certain levels of disciplinary action have to involve in order to get results. Now, when Red Stripe said them now want Bunty and Beanie and Sizzler and Capleton, if L.A. Lewis did go to the show him to get ridiculed and disciplined by we, members of the industry. So him knows that when, because not because you're a Bunty, or you're a Beanie, or you're a Capleton, it will happen to you too if you reach the level there and them can't get to use you and control you. So we have to take a stand. We now in turn should have said to Sumfest, if Red Stripe is going to be a main sponsor, no artist at all or selector cannot do the show. Else all right.
So you come back around to my point now, though.
We are all agreeing.
Hold on now. You come back around to my point because if there is a union that artists are a part of and there is an understanding of togetherness and unity, that in the business of the business, there's a way that you must function.
Doc, sorry, and I'm very sorry to stop you. This union thing and this unified body cannot work when everybody get different pay. What I'm saying, this is not
No. That is not true. Everybody at the University of the West Indies get different pay and they're a part of the union. What you mean?
Yeah, but that's a government agency, Mama.
No, it's not. The university is not the government. No.
Make a reason.
Not the public sector.
That make a reason.
Everybody think for themselves in our thing, Mama.
No. Mama, Doc, please give me a ear. Doc, give me a ear. Give me this thing to come out.
Thinking though, with that kind of thinking,
how
will we be able to achieve anything forward?
Listen, Doc. All right.
I want to hear Keshima question. Keshima, ask your question again.
saying with that kind of individualistic type of thinking, right? How is it then are we even going to achieve or attain anything going forward? Because everyone has a strong point. Curly spoke to understanding the business of the business. Foota mentioned the international aspect of it. And Dr. Niaah spoke to coming together as a collective to attain certain things in order to be powerful. So if we are incapable of even being on the same rhythm, because I don't want to go on the rhythm because Curly's on the rhythm and Foota on the rhythm, and I feel like I am the real big woman. So if they're on it, I can't do it. How is it then we're going to go further if we cannot maneuver these tiny hurdles in comparison to what we have spoken about thus far?
All right.
No, man.
Curly, you want to take it? You want to take it on first?
Well, no, I'm suggesting, Keshima, that the little things that are there as obstacles are really not as big as we think. Because if you have a structure in place, remember where I started out was talking about the way in which we go Germany, you go Britain, there are all of these examples internationally for us to take stock of. Best practices are out there. Whether you have, night economy established or not. You talk about zoning. You talk about the things that are to allow music to flourish in a particular jurisdiction. The examples are all out there.
Thank you.
What we are not doing, I'm suggesting, is making sure that we structure our business so that anybody who comes into that business understands that there's a structure.
Right.
That is what we are not doing.
This is what I'm saying now.
Who will take that mantle though, Dr. Niaah? Because it's like Curly mentioned when he spoke to media in particular, every media host watching the other to say, okay, you're expecting this one to do that. And the same thing applies also for the industry. We have seen, what is the role or the mandate, for instance, of the Ministry of Entertainment?
So
personally for me,
go on, Foota.
Personally for me, looking towards the ministry is already suicide. Government, as we know it, has never, ever done anything for music more than use music. Now we have seen in recent days, there's Mr. Mark Golding, and I'm going to address the PNP since I am a PNP, I'm going to address them first. He went to the launch of Sting. Mr. Mark Golding is one of our richest member of parliament financially, right? He went to Sting launch, obviously, to get media coverage that he's supporting the street event. There was a monetary problem with Sting. He never chip in. He never take any measures to try make Sting work. Then we have Mr. Andrew Holness, Ghana Burner Boy show, bag a picture, Ray, frightening for him. Then we not see a fright now about Buju show. So they use the music, right? They don't empower the music. The government has zillions of dollars. No, I'm not seeing the government bailing out. You're not gonna get up and bail out every pan now, but you have certain stature events and things that are monumental in you running out of airport to see tourists. The same way them used to fight Bob, but now Bob is everywhere with a big ganja spliff in their mouth promoting Jamaica, and they still don't like Bob. Even in death, they don't like Bob. So what I'm saying is, if we are turning to the government to give us that structure, remember before pandemic, we were screaming, no music, no vote. But we forgot it as pandemic come.
So I'm glad you reached the point here in Foota, because this is where I want us to get to. In 2014 and 2015, me who is not a part of the music industry, who love the music and love Jamaica, called some people together and said, guess what? No Messiah is coming to save this music. Let us sit down and figure out how we are going to figure out how to save this music. And I sat down with people at the Broadcasting Commission, people who are major producers, people who are inside of the business, making sure that they get what they need out of that business. And I said, you all, just like our Dr. Dre did call people and say hip hop, where we are going. We need to do that for ourselves. It's not the government that has to do that. The government is there to facilitate.
I
The
don't want
government
the
is there
government
to make
involved at
sure
all.
that there's
You
a
want to
legislative and a
beg to
regulatory
differ.
environment.
It brings
that
it back to the
supports the
question.
business.
Hear what me I
Brings
say.
it back to the question that I asked initially, like with this individualistic mindset, how do we get there? Because
You see,
here it
this
is,
is-
we're
this-
saying it. Mhm.
Hear what the thing. The government, you don't hear that. It brings connotations of somebody else. We are the government. We, the people, are the government. We are who farm the government. If we don't understand our own affairs, we can be manipulated and taken. The problem with this thing is sons of the field slaves, sons and daughters of the field slaves, ancestors of the field slaves are who have the most talent, because out of this pain and hardship comes something that we can express so well. But unfortunately for we are dependent on the same slave master to have our best interest at heart. And that is what must stop. And we have this thing where, boy, and them have to go do it, you know, me innocent, and me just all right, and then people have to fix reality and just impress me. And so me I said earlier, we have to set up something to make a body of people understand. So if we are going to fix things, it have to fix within us so we cannot be taken. Too long, too much talking about what somebody else to do. What somebody else need to do for we. Let me tell you what Bob Marley do. Let me tell you what Bob Marley do. Bob Marley sick. So the system is a vampire. He saw that. But he no bother with the whole heap of cussing because it is what it is. Rain or fall, you get up every day. Rain or fall, boy, I'm a big for the rain or fall, you know. Oh, just rain or fall, I can't go there, so. Get an umbrella, get a plastic, put over your head, make a plan. Go through it. It won't stop at your desire. It never stop. We are who we are. We represent morality and everything. All of that is true. But what do we do about it? Because the fight and the pressure will never stop. And we have deteriorated. We as a culture have deteriorated because of money. We have become immoral because of money. We have sold our morals. We have no more principles. And we are pretend this is a reputation we are live off of. We gone.
No, you're talking.
We gone as a culture.
No,
you
are talking.
The building.
No,
Jamaican fans,
listen.
The Warriors, them gone.
No, you reach me.
Them American now. And the media
they're not I know you say something.
Because this foolishness selling.
Yeah, no. Well, no. Remember beat Kashima and Bones now, please. And everybody. So you know, say, Irie, a brother and sister station with Zip, right?
Yes.
Now, the media houses, all right. The starting point of all of this, producers, selectors, artists, right? Or I should have said producer, artist, selector. Because that's how the music flows. Producer, record the artist, give it to the DJ, rhythm and our selector for play, right? And then we filter it to the masses. Now, one of the breakdown when me say, when media do to we, they would not play a song where say the word dagger in it. It was banned. But I heard Zip 103 had a song in the playlist by a female that said she kissed another female and she liked it. Now, that is a mental disrespect and a mental infection to the listeners. Media houses tend that a playlist will come from foreign and it's set where every DJ will come on and come play alternative. Have to play. Now that go back to what Laxa said. That is not morality or discipline. That is money. Where the big company has spent for regions play the song and Zip fall under the region. Because regular people who listen to radio might not know. Me know. Because you hear it a place and every DJ have to play it. It is called a playlist. And the content of this song goes against our cultural beliefs and values. I don't care if it's happening in the country. It is not our cultural belief and value. It should not be played on mainstream radio. I don't care if it's Katy Perry. I don't care if it's Rihanna. I don't care if it's who. If it take off of the radio. If Uno said daggering is so dangerous, which a knife is a dagger, and it's used in a society, knife used in a kitchen all about, and you think, take off this. Why should you play a song and say, I kissed a girl and I like it from another girl?
Foota, very, very solid point. Solid point. And like Curly alluded to in the beginning of the conversation, we can sit here and point fingers, and it is important in order to move forward that we all take accountability. Media is guilty right across the board for contributing to the downfall. So too are selectors. So too are
and producers. I said that.
Our producers. No, I'm just outlining it for you, because at the end of the day, if you should sit there as a selector and not to single out you or single out Curly Locks, but you fall within the entertainer capacity and also the selector capacity, and each of us have a responsibility as it even relates to gatekeeping for the music. But there comes a point when everybody is doing their own thing. So accountability is vital as we look forward to a brighter 2023. I am with Dr. Niaah to say she doesn't feel any form of anxiety because all is not lost. I also understand and support what Curly Lock says in terms of where the music is now. It has fallen off, and we can't really beat around the bush and pretend like what is happening now is high class and the highest standard, because we are not performing at optimum level. And when I said we, I mean the industry and what we see coming out. And it makes no sense if we sit one side and quietly or loudly criticize what is happening, or try to pretend as if it's not happening by shying away from the issue, to say Bob and Peter Tosh with their music back then, they had to fight, because yes, they had to fight. Yes, their music is message music that mobilize people and uplift the black race on levels that people worldwide don't want to happen. But we still cannot look and sit here to say, okay, dancehall is where it is at. Which leads me to my question. Entertainers today have various platforms to utilize. So what do you say to an artist who gets the credence from these streaming platforms that they have the #1 song? However, the industry knows that their talent and what they're putting out is mediocre in comparison to what it is that we're used to. What do you say to that individual who is already getting the accolades, putting the horse before the cart then? Well, the cart before the horse.
Right. You find a way to ask them serious questions and to intervene. I mean, you find a way to mentor them. You find a way to speak to them about what is going to be their legacy in the business. Because, unless you talk to somebody about things, they're not going to know necessarily. You can't assume they know.
Especially if it's working for them. They're not going to,
Talks don't work. Talks. Find a way to talk to them. Find a way to talk to them. Is that what I was?
I said find a way to reach them. Find a way to talk to them.
Find a way to make what them do before them do it. Make them have to consider it. Once upon a time when a crowd back here to be a big idiot.
Yes.
Find a way to them parade like supposed to be an idiot.
You know you're not going to do stupidness. Because you know the concept.
Go back to that. When the crowd was this and come back to the net.
Me and you thought that was too street. No, you get to me. I said, this is where my thing. This is my solution. The producer will produce the song. Once the artist utters something where you know not right, tap his song. Change the line.
Not talk that too.
But them have
no, but two lots before it comes out.
Me can do just go put it up on Spotify. The internet and the easy access.
No. But you wanna?
Because once upon a time the producer never follow one code, him not to do it again. The artist never follow one code, him not to do it again.
Hold on, 2 lakhs. Remember break on the chain of command. You see, if the producer goes beyond when know is right. Because remember, the right thing for doing a music, nobody not to teach you. You know already, a Jamaica you're born. You know. It's in your DNA. So nobody not to tell you. You see when him do that and him bring it to the selector now, our responsibility. I feel listen to this and say, me. And you know me take them stanza all the time. Me.
And when it come down to again, Foota. It come down to the man who say him get a food, you know, more me up play it, you know, cause Foota alright, you know. See the problem.
So we come back to the unity then. We come back to the unity.
There's no. Last time I said there can't be no unity. Everybody now does a PNP.
Yeah, but you have to start somewhere though. I gave the example of Dr. Dre with hip hop. We have to start somewhere.
It start already. You have people like me. Listen, because Doc probably don't know me. There are certain songs that I've no. Me I say know me, but you don't know where me stand for probably. There are certain songs that I have never played. Where run the place. Where them bring money come and me turn it down.
Know that's true. That is true.
Well, Locke said earlier is true. The problem is money. Me talk to artists and say, my youth, why would you put an oral sex line in the song? John, no father, you know, say, I try to eat them a record, I say, try to be the Pied Piper. If the rats were leading the Pied Piper, the community would still be infested with rats. The Pied Piper have to know the right song, play the right song, and get rid of the rat them. Whether the rat them like him or not. So the problem is everybody become diva to the dollar. So them want, I'm gonna even act like a girl just to get the money. Him know say the shirt where I put on no go with dancehall because it look girly. But so it the money they pan. Him go wear it. Like how Mr. Rasta going to Santa Claus ads because of money. So the money is the problem.
Same thing with the media house I do. Same thing with all media house.
Yeah, but the money now go where do. So we have to go figure out how to
lose the money to do the right thing.
Exactly.
Just alright. I like that girl, you know. Anyway, but you think she can't have a good relationship?
We want to thank you all for coming.
Because you know what, lose the rich man there, the idea of the rich man there.
Bones, you know all the while I do this, Bones, all the while I carry up on the program and then I run away off. Me now I got deal with this, you know. Kishima, that's something that can't work, you know.
We spoke for literally.
Tell them to sponsor them to buy more time. And this is the thing, you know. Big up Muta too, you know. Big up Muta, I may have a fire for him, you know. I'm a general, but me have a fire for Muta. Me hear ya big up Lila Ike. Stop, big up Lila Ike. Fire. She can apologize to the Jamaican people then. Fire.
Dr. Niaah. Thank you.
People on social media are
requesting. Thanks. It's been good. It's been wonderful to be here. We must only talk though. We must try and do some things.
I have been doing action long time.
Part of what we must do.
You've been doing action.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Pearly Locks, thank you.
So if you join me, Kishima, if you join me, Bones to join me. Join me.
We will join.
Make we lock out some people.
And join
Make we shut down some people and appear Bones.
Join me in the meantime. I want to say who's serious and I need action.
Yeah, man.
All right.
But no love, big up the Jamaican people, them. Me they are foreign. America say me can't left yet. But as soon as them say left, me done there. Big up on yourself.
Careful, brother, man. One.
Love.
Thank you so much. Dr.
Give thanks.
It's always a pleasure.
Great to see you, Doc.
Foota, thank
Respect
you.
every time.
Yes,
and we want to say a
give
special
thanks,
thanks
give
to everyone who made the buzz possible. We want to say thanks to our guests who are here. We want to say thanks to production assistants Vivian Stewart, Shamar Preston, Rashona Fitzhenley, Jody and Dawkins, technical operator DJ Lollipop, studio engineer DJ Kemar, and of course our telephone operator Jody Kate Tucker, and social media specialist Peter Broadbar. We want to say thanks to our sponsor Speroni Moscato. Live Sweet, Pop Speroni. Busy show tonight. We're out of here.
I know this was an absolutely awesome conversation. People are saying, Bones, that they need a part 2. So we absolutely need to make a part 2 happen, you know, to finish the conversation and focus more on a solution.
All right, we're out of here for this week. Join us next week for another exciting edition of the EBUZZ. I'm DJ Bones.
And I'm Kishima Francis. Musa Baruka is up next with The Cutting Edge.